What is missing is for young people in particular to get your story so that they can understand how you got to where you are. And what also is missing out there, in my opinion, I think that it's something that we need to work on very much. I call it the economic Toyi Toyi. Because I think that entrepreneur revolution that you spoke about is exactly what needs to happen in the South African context. I mean, if you look at the figures that are being churned out by the whole world of how small businesses have operated for centuries in many those countries, of course, that started development a long time ago. And the fact that Nigeria here, not very far away from us, is now #1, and if you look at the reason why they became #1, is because they started realizing that there's certain areas and certain sections of the economy which were not being calculated in. And I think that if we can then have our own economic Toyi Toyi, we might go back to being #1. And I think this economic Toyi Toyi for me starts with, first and foremost, a recognition, not just by government alone, because this cannot be done by government alone. For me, when I say economic Toyi Toyi, because I'm looking at the fact that the Toyi Toyi that we were talking about, the Toyi Toyi that we were doing as way back as 76 right up to today, it was a Toyi Toyi that was energizing us towards taking over political power. Now we have that now. It was a Toyi Toyi that was assisting us towards building what we now call a democratic, non-racial, non-sexist South Africa, which we want at the end. I'm not saying we're there yet. That's where we want to get to. So if we can harness that Toyi Toyi to be a different Toyi Toyi, one that would then say, we are free now, we're a free country, one that would say, we are energetic, one that would say, we know we have a responsibility to build our country collectively, together. One that would say, can we talk to the youngsters who go out there and Toyi Toyi and begin to think that the Toyi Toyi is meant to go out there and destroy? Can we harness that energy and bring it back to saying to them, now you need a Toyi Toyi of a different type? But can we also harness that energy and say to them, the economic Toyi Toyi we're talking about cannot happen if you are not educated. At least the basics, for God's sake. That economic Toyi Toyi is not going to happen if you cannot even understand the environment in which you live in, if you cannot take advantage of the environment in which you live in. That economic Toyi Toyi will not happen. It will happen if collectively we decide, let's shift the energy, because South Africa is energetic. And I have traveled. I mean, I've been to more than 45 countries of the African continent. I've been to almost every corner of the world. There's very few places where I haven't been. And every time I go, I come back and I say, you know, South Africa has it. We have it. We just need some direction, you know, to shift us towards the right direction. Now, if we have a country that has a government that, fortunately for us, I think we still have a government that does have the interests of how do we take the country forward. If we have a government like that, then it means there's something that we need to do collectively, firstly to recognize the fact that we've got a good government in place that still has the interest of the people at heart. How do we maintain that to make sure that we have a government that continuously would have the interest of people at heart? One that wouldn't say, Tina Sabakulula, we liberated them, now is our time to do other things. We can't get into that space because the original plan was kick out the system, and I'm happy that Given is saying that system was shifted, but there's so many things that are remaining of that system that we ourselves need to now say, how do we shift those? I also think that if we have a government that can still work with people and still say we are answerable to people, hold us accountable. Now, the holding us accountable for me is not about hiding behind government. Because there are days, there are times when I wake up in the morning and I go to the office and I'm like, I thought I was doing my best. I thought I'm giving it my best. But when I open the pages, I feel like, why don't I just pack and just say to these people, you know what? Me and my generation, we do have something that we can always hold on to. We fought for this country. We liberated this country. We sacrificed for this country. If there are other people who think that they can do a better job, maybe we should just step aside and get them to do that. Then I hold myself back quickly and say, hey, step aside for who? I might step aside for the wrong people. So if we committed ourselves to really take the country forward, it means we must slug it out. But however, in the slugging it out, it cannot be a responsibility of government alone. I will say this, which I've been saying, and some people keep saying it's not right for me to say this. I think that business, academics, everybody needs to take responsibility of taking this country forward. Cannot be a slogan of the African National Congress, taking the country forward. No, mustn't be a slogan. It must be something that's real, that all of us are committed to doing.